everybody, I'm Shane. Today we're trying out our 3-point soil conditioner. This soil conditioner that we have here today is a 96-inch version. We sell a 72 and an 84 as well. The 96-inch version comes in at a weight of over 1,400 pounds, has 120 carbide tip teeth that are welded to a 10-inch diameter tube that has a 1/4-inch wall thickness. So we did a little experiment here to see how well these teeth can stand up against rock. This looks like a pink granite. I hit it for a pretty long time. You can see all these teeth here have white marks on them where they've contacted the granite, and it's really hard to tell if anything actually happened to them. And they don't look like they certainly aren't broken. I can't even see that. You can't even see that there's any chips out of them. But it certainly was taking chunks out of the rock and took a lot of flakes off the side of this. So yeah, we hit her pretty hard, and those teeth, that carbide is super hard. It really held up well. That is the kind of tooth that you want for the best ability to dig, but also withstand those tough conditions of hitting rocks like you're going to see in a landscaping application. One thing I want to point out about the steel teeth on the drum is that we weld these in a spiral pattern. So there's 4 lines, each consisting of 30 teeth on this 96-inch drum. And the reason they're in a spiral is so that you don't have straight lines of teeth engaging the dirt at one time. Some other brands do that, and what happens is you get a pulsing motion where you're kicking up large waves of dirt, and you don't get a very nice level finish after that. Not only that, it stresses your drive components in a pulsing manner. When you have the teeth in a spiral manner, you always have the same number of teeth engaging the ground at all times, so it's a nice smooth transition between the power going to the ground. The drive system of this soil conditioner consists of a clutch protected PTO shaft that runs into a right angle gearbox, and then the shaft runs out to the end where we have an oil bath chain, which is a size 100 chain, and that's giving us an output speed of about 190 RPM. That's with an input of about 540. The 3-point frame is set up for category 1 and 2 3-point connections. It works best with tractors of a horsepower from 25 to 55 horsepower. The backbone of this frame is a huge 4-inch by 8 rectangular steel tube that runs the full width of the frame. This is built to withstand the pulling and the twisting that goes on when you're digging in soil. The gearbox position is directly under the pivot point of the frame, and that enables you to maintain the drum working width centered on the wheel track of the tractor. So no matter where you pivot it, it'll always be centered on your wheel track. This frame has standard hydraulic angling and pivots both directions 15 degrees. The large steel drum is designed to not only dig deeply but also push a large amount of dirt if needed. That's handy for landscaping jobs where you're leveling and filling in low spots such as divots or bumps. It's going to give you the amount of dirt that you need to fill in those low spots. So we did some preliminary tilling here in this bean field from last year. It was chisel plowed last fall, and it hasn't been touched all winter, so it's pretty firm. We had a lot of snow this winter, really compressed the dirt down. It's pretty packed. This area also has a lot of small rocks in it, so I wanted to show you what the benefit of a large 10-inch drum is doing for us in this rocky soil. It's actually collecting all these rocks, and you can windrow them to a side to collect them and carry them somewhere, or you can use this to pull them all to one side. So it's just like we're picking potatoes here. These rocks with a smaller diameter drum, they're more apt to get kicked over the drum because the drum is so short. But with a 10-inch drum, you can be digging 1 or 2 inches deep in the soil and still have that 8 inches of drum above acting like a dam. So it's preventing these rocks from getting recycled or kicked over the top of the drum. That's an excellent way to prepare a seed bed for planting of sod or grass seed. Now, this is the first pass, so If you really wanted to make it nice, I'd probably take a second pass where you tickle the surface again and windrow even more rocks to one side or the other. But you can see what it's doing here with just one pass with collecting these rocks. When I get to the end of the run and I lift up the conditioner, it's leaving this pile at the end. So you can see it's really removing a lot of rock. So one thing I wanted to point out about the bearing that we use is that it's a shielded design. So that's different than a standard bearing that just has a lip seal between the inner and outer race. This actually has a metal shield which is pressed on the inner race and protects the rubber seal from being damaged if you get some material wrapped on it. So it has this metal shield on both sides of the inner race that turns with the shaft. So if you get any debris on it, like vegetation or something, it's not going to damage that rubber seal that's hidden behind it. The wheels are an 18-inch diameter urethane wheel, so they'll never run flat. They're very tough. They are adjustable. The arm has a few different positions here that you can adjust with a pin. The main adjustment for height then becomes the 3-point arms itself. We offer an optional wing kit that can be bolted on the sides. This is works well for when you are wanting to level a soil before you do planting of sod, for example. It enables you to push a larger pile of dirt without a lot of it sneaking around the outsides of the drum. On the front side of this frame, we have a rubber mat which is bolted to the frame itself. It's bolted with slotted holes so you can adjust it up and down about 1 inch. It works best to move it up if you have dirt that has a lot of debris in it, such as vegetation. It won't plug as easy. It'll kick it over the drum. If you have an area where you're working with a lot of dirt clumps, you might want to move that fence down to keep the dirt in front of the drum so it gets pulverized more and more. So this is a good example of what a soil conditioner can do in an area that's already been tilled. This example is a garden that was disked. There's some sticky soil here down a low spot. We had big clumps like this, but you can zip along at a pretty good pace. It breaks up the clumps and it leaves a nice level, firm seed bed that's somewhat firmed up, but it also has some nice texture to it, so it's not as prone to wind erosion. An example where you might be using this would maybe be in a development where you're building homes or a road construction site where you have a roughed-in ditch and you go in and you level and smooth and break up those clumps before they lay down or spray seed on it for grass. Be sure to check back later as we do more videos. Give us a call or check our website if you have any questions.